Hey everybody! I wanted to just quickly talk about full immersion. I see 2 turkey vultures up there. They've been heading south for days. So cool to see. But this full immersion topic is something Steve and I talk about so much, and it is something that I think I can show you right here. So I applaud everyone's efforts for creating natural space on your property. It is such a big deal. But I want to tell you when we started noticing the shift here. And that's when we started making our pods and paths, that's what Steve likes to call them, bigger. Not the paths, but obviously the pods. And so that's when we stopped trying to control everything and have specific species in their tidy little spots. And let things grow together as Mother Nature would. Now, I know that's difficult in some situations and you can't do it, and I get it. And so this is for those of you that can. And those of you that can, it's life-changing, truly. So I've talked to you right here before about the garden. And this part here is what we are returning to nature. It's no more going to be controlled vegetable garden space. We have a lot littler space up in this northeast corner where I'm watering. And so this fall, we're taking out this fence, as I've already mentioned. But you can see the plants are already coming back in the biggest way, because they wanted to be here. I mean, once you start planting certain types of plants, you're going to have a seed source, which is so cool. And so they're going to obviously seed themselves, especially when they're windblown seeds, into nice fertile garden beds. And what a gift for us, because we don't need this big of a garden. It kicks our butts and we can't handle that. So we're going to grow intensively in that small space, as I've talked about. But once we made this part bigger by just not gardening it anymore, you can see, I'm going to kind of hold my phone up here. There's the house. It is a big area. It goes all the way back to those pine trees, to the chicken coop, and then all the way back to that field, which the field behind us is not ours. And then you can see where our high tunnel used to be, which we're moving all that fence. And it wraps around the green barn, goes into that fence row. And then there's a couple trails over, as you know, by the orchard. So there's connectivity, though, with that on the north side. So this pod is enormous. And once we did that, the wildlife in here is unreal. I mean, there are warblers gleaning all kinds of insects off of these asters. The butterflies and moths that are in here, phenomenal. There are snakes. When we get the slightest little drop of rain, all the frogs that are in here start singing in celebration. And yes, they are in here. We hear chorus frogs, and spring peepers are the main ones we're hearing in here right now. And so this space, by becoming bigger, has become this phenomenal wildlife area. And so full immersion, like, get in it. If you can do that with your land, if you have any amount of space and you're just mowing it, stop. Do something else, because that space isn't just yours. It's all this other life that is trying so hard to live with us, because we humans tend to have a pretty big footprint. So you can see our footprint that we have in the garden. I mean, Steve and I have a footprint too. We have driveways, we have paths, but we try to have as little of a footprint now as we can, and that has changed since we've been here. I mean, I think we thought we were having a light footprint when we first got here, and I realize now, just with the return of life in these areas, that we actually were having a really big footprint. And I'm sure we will find out over time that we can still lessen it quite a bit and still have all the space we need, and then have all the space that the wildlife needs, and that we get to share that space and be part of it and witness each other living our lives, doing what we're doing and loving what we love and eating what we need to eat. And then suddenly life is put in a lot greater context. it's more meaningful and rich because it's not just about us. And that is truly, truly in our minds when the magic starts.